In the shadowed corridors of a world barely understood, a tale emerges from the ancient pages of a book that has shaped the destiny of nations and the lives of countless individuals. This is not a story of mere mortals. It is a narrative where the divine and the human intertwine in ways that challenge our deepest beliefs about power, morality, and the very nature of God. The Exodus from Egypt is a tale of liberation, but it is also a story of divine intervention, manipulation, and the complex relationship between a deity and his chosen people. It is a story that, even in its most unsettling moments, reveals the profound impact of a God who is both a warrior and a lawmaker, a deity who shapes the destiny of a people and the moral fabric of a civilization. The Lord of the Passover, as depicted in the Exodus narrative, is a God who wields power with a ruthlessness that is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. His insistence on the right to give and take life at will is not a new concept in the ancient world, where gods were often portrayed as capricious and demanding. What is new, however, is the scale and the setting of this divine intervention. The plagues that ravage Egypt, the hardening of Pharaoh's heart, and the ultimate destruction of the Egyptian army in the Red Sea are not merely displays of divine power. They are strategic maneuvers in a cosmic battle for the liberation of the Israelites. The hardening of Pharaoh's heart, often seen as a cruel act, is a tactic that serves a higher purpose: to demonstrate the Lord's supremacy and to ensure that the Exodus is a divine act, not a human victory. The manipulation of human will, whether it be the hardening of Pharaoh's heart or the favorable disposition of the Egyptians toward the Israelites, is a central theme in the Exodus narrative. These acts of divine intervention strip both Pharaoh and the Israelites of their autonomy, emphasizing that the Exodus is an event orchestrated by God. Pharaoh, despite his initial resistance, is ultimately a pawn in a larger divine plan. The Israelites, despite their moments of doubt and fear, are not the agents of their own liberation. They are the recipients of God's deliverance. This narrative challenges the modern notion of free will and raises questions about the nature of divine sovereignty. If God is the ultimate arbiter of human actions, what does it mean for human responsibility and moral agency? The Exodus is a story of liberation, but it is also a story of humiliation. The Egyptians, who are stripped of their wealth and their pride, are reduced to a defeated and humiliated nation. The favorable disposition of the Egyptians toward the Israelites, which results in the plundering of Egypt, is a form of divine retribution. It is a reminder that the Lord is not only a God of deliverance, but also a God of judgment. The Israelites, who are portrayed as passive recipients of divine favor, are not credited with the moral courage or the valor of their own liberation. Their exultant song of victory, while a powerful expression of gratitude and faith, also serves to emphasize that their deliverance is a divine act, not a human achievement. The Song of the Red Sea, one of the most exultant and powerful expressions of divine victory in the Bible, is a hymn of praise and a declaration of God's supremacy. It is a song that celebrates the Lord as a warrior, a deity who has triumphed over the mightiest military power of the ancient world. The imagery of cosmic victory, where the Lord's power over nature is likened to the victory of order over chaos, is a powerful reminder that the God of the Israelites is not just a tribal deity, but a universal God. The song anticipates future victories and the eventual conquest of Canaan, a land that God has promised to the Israelites. However, the song also hints at a deeper relationship between God and his people, a relationship that goes beyond mere deliverance and into the realm of divine intimacy. The Exodus, while a story of liberation, is also a story of dependency. The Israelites, having been delivered from Egypt, are now dependent on God for their survival in the wilderness. This dependency is not just physical, but also spiritual. The Lord, who has shown himself to be a powerful and vindictive deity, now begins to reveal himself as a lawgiver. The giving of the law at Mount Sinai is a pivotal moment in the Exodus narrative. It marks a transition from a God who delivers to a God who guides and instructs. The 10 Commandments, inscribed on stone tablets by the finger of God, are not just a set of moral guidelines, but a covenant that defines the relationship between God and his people. The law is a manifestation of God's love and care, a way to ensure that the people he has delivered will remain faithful and obedient. Ethical monotheism, the idea that there is one God who demands moral behavior from his people, is a concept that has had a profound impact on Western civilization. The emergence of this idea in ancient Israel is often seen as a crucial step in the cultural history of the West. However, the question of why monotheism should be an advance over polytheism is not immediately apparent. If the one God is no less a fiction than the many gods were, wherein lies the gain? The answer lies in the moral framework that monotheism provides. By denying reality to all gods but one, and ascribing to that one God a supreme concern with morality, monotheism achieves a result that is difficult to achieve through polytheism. In a polytheistic world, where multiple gods with different concerns and interests coexist, it is challenging to establish a unified moral code. The one God of monotheism, however, can demand a consistent and universal moral standard. The ethical dimension of monotheism is not just a theoretical construct. It has practical implications. The 10 Commandments, for example, provide a clear and concise set of moral guidelines that are still relevant today. The commandments address fundamental issues such as murder, theft, adultery, and false witness, issues that are universal and timeless. The Law of Moses, which expands on these commandments, provides a comprehensive moral and legal framework that governs all aspects of life, from personal behavior to social justice. The idea that there is one God who cares about the moral behavior of his people is a powerful motivator for ethical living. However, the emergence of ethical monotheism in Israel is not without its challenges. The God of the Exodus is a complex and often contradictory figure. He is a God of deliverance and a God of judgment, a God of love and a God of wrath. The same God who delivers the Israelites from slavery in Egypt also commands them to conquer and destroy other nations in the name of divine will. This aspect of God's character raises difficult moral questions. How can a God who demands love and compassion also command acts of violence and destruction? The tension between God's loving and wrathful aspects is a theme that runs throughout the Bible and continues to be a source of theological and ethical debate. The story of the Exodus, with its themes of divine intervention, manipulation, and judgment, challenges modern notions of free will and moral agency. It raises questions about the nature of divine sovereignty and the role of human responsibility. The God of the Exodus is a powerful and demanding deity, a God who expects obedience and faith from his people. The ethical framework that emerges from this narrative is one that emphasizes moral responsibility and the importance of living in accordance with divine will. However, it is also a narrative that acknowledges the complexity and ambiguity of the divine-human relationship. In the end, the story of the Exodus is a story of transformation. The Israelites, once slaves in Egypt, are transformed into a people who are free but also dependent on God. The Lord, once a distant and mysterious deity, is transformed into a God who is intimately involved in the lives of his people. The Exodus is not just a story of liberation. It is a story of the birth of a nation and the emergence of a moral and ethical framework that has shaped the course of human history. The God of the Exodus, a warrior and a lawgiver, is a God who demands much from his people, but also promises to be with them, to guide them, and to protect them. In the end, the Exodus is a story of hope, a story that reminds us that even in the darkest of times, there is a God who will deliver and a path to a better future. In conclusion, the Exodus from Egypt is a narrative that challenges and transforms. It is a story of divine power and human dependency, of liberation and judgment, of a God who is both a warrior and a lawgiver. The ethical monotheism that emerges from this narrative has had a profound impact on Western civilization, providing a moral framework that continues to shape our understanding of right and wrong. The story of the Exodus, with its complex and often unsettling themes, remains a powerful and enduring testament to the enduring power of faith and the transformative nature of divine intervention.